Welcome back. Happy Sunday. Ruby One returns with the conspiracy book as we go through the secret societies and hidden histories, a chronological journey through by John Michael Greer. And I've done several videos on this book if you look back on my videos. And we're on page 53 now, and it starts with Solomon's Temple in 975 BCE. Now we're up to 1765. And the Sons of Liberty. And right here's a painting of the Bloody Boston Massacre. To me, it looks like watercolors. It's got some poem of a sort down here. It says it's published in 1770 by Paul Revere. In the last few lines here, it says, like fiery barbarians grinning on their prey, approve the carnage and enjoy the day. All right, so let us start. The Sons of Liberty. For most of a decade before 1765, relations between the British government and the people of the 13 British colonies came under increasing strain. The colonists thought of themselves as British subjects with the same rights as their peers across the sea. The government saw them as cash cows to be milked dry for London's benefit. When Parliament passed the Stamp Act levying expensive taxes on the colonists, an explosion became inevitable. One colonial conspiracy already existed, the Committees of Correspondence, but it drew its membership from among the wealthy and influential, and focused on lobbying a political organization, a new secret society, the Sons of Liberty, promptly emerged to pursue the same goal by more robust means, organized in 1765 in New York and Boston, and fought the Stamp Act and other edicts from London with a mix of civil disobedience and rioting. The Boston Massacre of 1770, when British troops stationed in Boston fired into the crowd and killed 5 civilians, convinced many colonists that armed resistance was their only option. The Sons of Liberty began gathering guns and ammunition. A rising spiral of violence on both sides culminated in the night of April 17th and 18th, 1775, when British soldiers marched out of Boston to seize Sons of Liberty arsenals in surrounding towns. Paul Revere, 1734 to 1818, a leading member of the Sons of Liberty, made his famous midnight ride to warn fellow members of the raid. The organization paramilitary branch, the Minutemen, turned out in force, and the battles of Lexington and Concord took place the next morning. The American Revolution was on. See also the Committees of Correspondence, 1760. All right, so right here it says, an engraving by Paul Revere, published by Revere in 1770, depicts the Boston Massacre, 1770, a harrowing event and flashpoint for the American Revolution after the 5 civilians were killed by British troops in armed revolt organized by the Sons of Liberty, with Paul Revere playing a leading role, was leveled against the British in 1875. And it's Paul Revere who's on the beer, not Sam Adams, if anyone knows that. He was too fat and ugly, I guess. This book goes in and out how the societies disappear and reappear with different names, and somehow they're all slightly linked. All right, so we go on to 1770, page 55. It's got some French here. Dictionnaire, mytho hermetique. I don't know how to speak French, but les allegris fabulicis, des poetis, les metaphors, les enigmas, barbarous philosophus, hermetiques, expliques. My French is so off, so I don't think I can speak French. I'm just kind of reading what I see here. Chesbus Library, Saint Genevieve, Saint Jean. Let's see what it says here before we go try to read French. France before the Revolution was full of mystics, occultists, and visionaries of all kinds. And the Hoth House atmosphere of 18th century Freemasonry encouraged many of them to launch Masonic and quasi-Masonic organizations to spread their teachings. Antoine Joseph Permetti, 1760 to 1796, was one of these. Originally a Catholic, he spent several years as a Benedictine monk. He converted to the mystical Christianity of the Swedish mystic Emanuel Swedenborg, 1688 to 1772, sometime in the 1760s. He became a Freemason and convinced himself that Swedenborg's teachings were actually the inner secrets of Freemasonry. In 1770, he founded a new Masonic order in the French town of Avignon, where they lived, named the Illumines of Avignon. This order used the 3 degrees of the ordinary masonry and added it to a 4th degree titled True Mason, which passed on the Swedenborgian teachings to the initiates. The new organization was a modest success, but in 1778 it suddenly changed its name to the Academy of True Masons. The reason for this change may well have been the birth of 1776 of a very different order with a similar name, the Bavarian Illuminati. Conspiracy researchers have claimed for many years that the Illuminists of Avignon, like the Alumbrados before them, were somehow identical to the Bavarian Illuminati. In fact, the similar stops with the same name. It's hard to think of two things with less in common than Pernetti's gentle Swedenborgian Christianity and the rationalist radicalism of Adam Weishaupt, 1748 to 1830. Yet these two very different organizations turned out to share a common fate. Both of them went out of existence as Europe descended into chaos after the French Revolution. See also the Alumbrados, 1511, the Bavarian Illuminati, 1776. The front cover of the Dictionnaire Metho-Hermetic Dictionary, published by Antoine Joseph Pernetti in 1778, influenced by the Christian mysticism of Emanuel Swedenborg. Pernetti founded a new Masonic order in Avignon, France in 1770. The book cast on the mysterious inner workings of Freemasonry. There's that symbol we see on some of the buildings there, right here. Looks like the Sanskrit snake's almost like a shell. Right here, they're telling you how these secret societies were very similar. And this is, I already know Adam Weishaupt. This is the radicalist back then. Look at the guilt look in his eyes. That's not the eye of the tiger. That's the eyes of someone looking over his back. And he also has that neck brace that people are saying help hold their neck up. It wasn't just fashion. And he doesn't show his teeth. And the elite supposedly didn't have good teeth back then. What does that say? Man singer. The Bavarian Illuminati, 1776. The most famous conspiracy of them of all the focus of more than 200 years of rumor and terror. The Bavarian Illuminati started out as a college club. Adam Weishaupt, 1748 to 1830, its founder, was a professor of law at Ingolstadt University in Bavaria. And on May 1st, 1776, he and 4 friends organized a club to discuss the exciting new liberal ideas then being discussed in France. As the club attracted new members, Weishaupt invented initiation rituals, drew up a study course to spread these same ideas among new initiates, and focus on recruiting members among the wealthy and talented and socially prominent. And where it says May 1st, that's why I say we're 5-1. You see those numbers on old Victorians. I believe it refers back to that. As his ambitions grew, he came to see the Illuminati as an elite of enlightenment, rational individuals who would institute themselves into key positions in Bavarian society and turn the country into a utopia. Illuminati accordingly began to infiltrate Masonic lodges and make connections with political radicals in France and elsewhere. While the Illuminati failed in their attempt to seize control of the strict observance in 1782, their star was rising. Unfortunately for Weishaupt's dreams, Bavaria in the late 18th century was a deeply conservative Catholic nation whose royal court was profoundly suspicious of the new ideas from France. Rumors of the order's activities and agenda began to spread as members talked too freely, and the inevitable backlash came. Laws passed in 1784 and 1785 banned the Illuminati, and in a series of police raids broke the back of the organizations and seized hundreds of pages of documents. Weishaupt fled the country. Many other members of the order were less lucky and spent long terms in Bavarian prisons. See also the strict observance, 1754, the Convention of Williamsbad, 1782, the French Revolution, 1789, the Social Circle, 790, and Proofs of a Conspiracy, 1797. John Adam Weishaupt, pictured in 1799 engraving. In 1776, Weishaupt was a professor of law at Ingolstadt University in Bavaria, founded the Illuminati. Ultimately, Weishaupt's aim was to turn Bavaria into a utopia. They need to do this today to the Illuminists today and figure out exactly who they are. All right, so the Convention of Williamsbad will be next, 1782. It's like an old mud flood structure. Looks like an M at the top. As we will dive deeper into the secret societies and hidden histories. Roby 1, I'm out. Peace. Have a nice day.